Frustrated with your energy bill? Trust me, I've been there. Last winter, I stared at mine so long I thought the numbers would start shrinking out of pity. But get this, our medieval ancestors might have had some genius heating hacks we've completely forgotten. While we're fiddling with smart thermostats and whining about drafty windows, medieval folks were keeping warm without spending a single penny on electricity. And no, they weren't just shivering in the dark. They had tricks, clever, toasty, and surprisingly effective. Some of these methods were so good, they kept homes as warm as 70 degrees Fahrenheit, without central heat. Ready to find out how? Let's dive in. First up, the medieval hearth. Forget your modern fireplace tucked away in a corner. Medieval hearths stood tall in the center of the home, the beating heart of warmth and life. Stone slabs around and beneath the fire absorbed heat all day and radiated it back at night. Basically, a giant stone hot water bottle. Some stones stayed warm for 12 hours after the fire went out. And the smoke? It wasn't wasted. It slowly filtered out through gaps in the roof, fumigating the house, preserving hanging food, and driving out pests. Natural insulation and pest control. That's what I call multitasking. 2. Communal fires, the village furnace. But what if your fire wasn't enough? You went to the village fire, literally. Many medieval villages had warming houses or permanent communal fire pits, especially during brutal winters. These were the medieval version of coffee shops, social media, and community centers rolled into one. Families took turns feeding the fire, cooking meals, sharing news, and even settling disputes. One record from 1267 mentions a property feud solved over a fire involving a chicken. And archaeologists discovered these fires were placed to direct smoke away from the village. Medieval HVAC engineers? Apparently, yes. 3 hand warmers and pocket stones, portable heat. No fire, no problem. Medieval folks had portable heating. Enter the chauffette, a metal ball filled with hot coals. Carry it in your pocket or muff, and you've got yourself a 14th century hand warmer. Fancy ones were made of gold or silver, but even regular folks had iron versions. And then there were pocket stones, smooth river stones heated by the hearth and wrapped in cloth. People carried them everywhere, tucked them into boots, or slid them into bed. One 15th century court record even describes a man punished for stealing someone's heated stone in church. The penalty? He had to provide heated stones to the entire congregation. Medieval justice was oddly cozy. 4. Livestock, the original space heaters. Let's talk about nature's furnace. Cows. Medieval. Farmers often connected barns directly to their homes, not because they were lazy, but because animals give off serious heat. One cow equals about 1,000 BTUs per hour. Multiply that by 5 or 6, add some sheep, and suddenly your walls are radiating warmth. Rooms next to the barn stayed up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer. Smelly? Sure. Effective? Definitely. Some landlords even charged less rent for houses that didn't share a wall with the barn. Heating perks, medieval style. 5 heat reflectors, bounce that warmth. Now here's where it gets science-y, before they even had science. Medieval builders used polished brass, copper, and even silver to reflect heat from fires back into rooms. Some homes had entire walls lined with metal sheets. A castle in France had silver-plated walls, not just for bling, but to create massive heat reflectors. Tests on replicas show these setups could increase room temps by 30%. That's like getting a third more heat without burning extra firewood. And yes, they even figured out curved reflectors for maximum coverage. Medieval surround sound, but for warmth. 6. Bed warmers, medieval electric blankets. Nighttime, they had that covered too, with bed warmers. These long-handled metal pans were filled with hot coals and slid between the sheets before bed. Just enough heat to fall asleep without freezing. Some pans were decorated with engravings. One from 1435 even read, "Sweet dreams, don't let the ice bite." There were even official bed warmer inspectors in some towns because nobody wants to wake up on fire. 7. Canopy beds, sleep pods. Before it was cool, canopy beds weren't just for style. They were medieval heat traps. Heavy curtains around the bed created a warm, little microclimate. Testing shows temperatures inside could be 15 degrees Fahrenheit, warmer than the rest of the room. Some beds had double curtains, wood tops, and even slots for warming pans. The 14th century version of a smart bed. One guy in 1389 reportedly spent more on his bed curtains than his house. Priorities. 8. Sun power. Passive solar. Before it was trendy, medieval builders were solar power pioneers. Homes were often built with south-facing windows designed to trap sunlight in winter but stay shaded in summer. Thick stone walls acted like giant thermal batteries, soaking up heat during the day and releasing it overnight. Some castles even had sunrooms with 6-foot thick walls. Archaeologists found homes angled exactly 17.5 degrees east of true south for perfect sun exposure. That's more precision than I use with my phone's compass. 9. Thatched roofs. Nature's insulation. Those rustic thatched roofs, engineering marvels. Packed straw traps heat through thousands of tiny air pockets. They also breathe, letting moisture out but keeping heat in. A good thatched roof could be 2 feet thick and insulate better than many modern materials. One snowy winter in 1397, people in thatched homes had to open windows. It got too warm. Meanwhile, neighbors in tile-roofed homes huddled like frozen burritos. 10. Heated floors. Stone Age radiant. Heating, finally the most brilliant method of all, heated floors. Medieval folks heated massive stones in fires during the day, then slid them under floorboards or benches. Some houses had designated stone warming pits. In one manor house, servants rotated 24 stones every few hours, like a medieval thermostat. Scientists say this could keep rooms around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, even when it was freezing outside. One monk called it God's own heating. I'd call it genius. So there you have it, 10 medieval heating hacks that prove our ancestors weren't just surviving winter. They were thriving in it. From hot rocks to heated beds, they did more with less and without touching a single thermostat. Maybe it's time we brought some of these ideas back. Just, minus the barn smells.